Hi, my name is Michael Bodell and we are in the Peterson Automotive Museum studio right now, and behind me is a really special project. This is a 2001 Jeep TJ and it's part of our Teen Auto Workshop. This program actually will take this car and customize it, and eventually will give this car away as somebody's very first car. All of the parts around me that you see are going to be installed over a series of videos, and they've been supplied through our partner Quadratec. Without Quadratec, we wouldn't have been able to make this build possible, so a huge shout out to them. Over the course of the series, we'll cover the powertrain, we'll cover suspension, exterior, interior, brakes, and we'll even do some detailing on the car. We're really excited. All of this falls under our Hammer Time Global Education Initiative, and so we'll be having members of our staff and students who are working alongside them put this back together into something that's very special. We hope you enjoy the ride as we build this and enjoy the series. All right, so we have a couple of parts in here. Looks like, oh, we've got our springs. So these springs will be mated to the Fox absorbers, and these should give us a few inches of lift. And then this very large box, I'm not sure what this one is, that will replace these guys. So some new step plates. And we're gonna bring some more boxes out. So let me move these out of the way. So here are our new seat covers. And our seats, these are neoprene, so they're all weather. Looks like we've got front and rear. So these will go on the rear bench and the front seat. And so this will go up top and replace the existing bar that we currently have. So we just unboxed this J5 light bar from Quadratec. As you can see, this is a huge upgrade from what we already have. When I actually stack this next to it, you'll see just how much bigger the LEDs are on this one, and this will span the full windshield. And so this will be a fun install, and I think right next to it we've got another lighting component, which is the LED tail lamp. This is one of the two. And so here's our new tail lamp. This one's actually kind of cool. You can see all of the circuits inside. And these will pair nicely with our LED headlights. And now, so this looks like the rear insert for the trunk. And this will go and protect the bed. All weather, again, another Quadratec product. So very cool. Put this here. And then our final larger box for right now. And so these are our doors. These are bar doors. So right now we've got the solid door. These doors are fully exposed. So these will look really cool once they're installed. And they're coated in this nice material that makes them scratch resistant. These are by Fishbone. Just like all Jeeps, the install on the doors is super easy. They just drop right in. So these will give our Jeep a really nice aesthetic. It'll match some of the other components on the exterior that we're currently installing. But for now, we are finished with the bigger components. We're going to move on to the smaller components that we have. So we are back in the studio doing some of the smaller interior components. Before I open up these boxes, we've got a couple of the interior details and accessories. These being the foot pedals, and if you actually take a look at our existing foot pedals, these are a huge upgrade. These are, it looks like cast stainless steel. We've got our new stainless steel shift knob. It's a pretty comprehensive sub, equalizer, speakers front and rear. When you actually zoom in to the front speakers on this car, you'll see just how much they needed an upgrade. So we have our amp and our sub, and then these should be our front and rear speakers. So here are our new speakers. These are the rear ones, so these are going to go on the bar in the rear, and then the front speakers will go into the plates that you'll see in a moment. I will open the door in a second and you'll be able to take a look at just how badly our sound system needed to get upgraded. We are going to add a reverse camera in this car. It'll have Bluetooth, things a 2001 TJ never came with. Here is our LED light. So this is the other LED light from before. And so these are all the sound components that are going into the Jeep. There's still quite a few parts that need to get installed, and so we'll be installing and unboxing these as we go along. This is just a taste of all the cool accessories and parts that are going to upgrade this vehicle into somebody's first vehicle. But if you actually quickly take a look at the existing sound system, you'll see just how in need this car is. It's in pretty good disrepair. You'll see its existing speaker system, its dated track in the front, and whoever gets this car is extremely lucky because it's going to have a great sound system and a lot of much needed upgrades.
Thanks for taking the time today and letting me jump on here with you guys. It's nice to see you all out there. And yeah, I thought I'd give you guys just a little background on Quadratec, who we are if you're not familiar with us. We've been in business now for just over 30 years, and we're based here on the East Coast, just outside of Philadelphia. We got started doing soft tops, replacement soft tops for Jeeps. The owner of our company had initially bought a 1989 Jeep Wrangler and couldn't find any good places to get a replacement soft top and start accessorizing his Jeep. And you know, one thing led to another, as is most cases with Jeep projects, that they kind of snowball and take on a life of their own. And so he started selling soft tops out of the garage and then built it on it from there. And here we are 30 years later, you know, selling pretty much anything that goes on under the hood, you can bolt onto a Jeep.
We're ready to get started, I think.
That's awesome. So you guys are going to be working on the Jeep every Saturday, right? For the next couple weeks, next 8 weeks?
Yep, every Saturday. First, I think today is going to be an oil change and just kind of a strip down day. And then they're going to dive into it over the next 8 weeks.
Yeah, hopefully I'll get to check in with you guys soon. And, you know, please keep me looped in on the progress of the Jeep. I'd love to see pictures as we go along. And, you know, hopefully when it gets wrapped up, maybe I can make my way out there to California.
Awesome. Well, sounds good. Thank you.
My pleasure, guys. Nice to see you all today. Good luck. Have fun.
Thank you.
Everyone, we're here to learn and have fun, and this is an educational project. But sometimes with automotive maintenance, there is a risk of getting injured. So we're going to cover a few of the safety items working on a car today. And you know, the most common thing to happen with when you're working on your car is you might have your hand slip off a wrench, and it usually goes into something sharp. But we're here to discuss things like protective gear. Quadratec has given us these great gloves, and Peterson, we have eye protection. So you want to wear gloves when working on a vehicle, so if you do slip, you're not gonna bang your knuckles. Eye protection is really important, like if you're in a chemistry class or something like that, you're wearing eye protection. You could have fluids hit you in the eye, something like that. Typically in that case, you're working on a desk. In this case, it's more important because your desk is kind of upside down. You're working under a car and things are falling onto you, so eye protection is really important. Also, like loose clothing, things like that, like jewelry. No one's really wearing anything with strings on it. For instance, he has a hoodie. A hoodie could get tangled up if you were to leaning over the engine. There's rotating parts in there. There's fans, there's belts, there's pulleys. So we won't have that risk today because the engine's not running, but you will have to be conscious of that kind of stuff. Long hair can also get in the way of your engine, so you want to be very cautious about that. You can tie it up like yours is tied up. That's something you want to think about. The other thing, and is probably the most important on the oil change we'll be doing today, we're going to be lifting the vehicle up, and you want to support it in a way that is safe. So we have some equipment here. We'll show you on this side when we get to that. We'll cover that in more detail, but preventing something as heavy as a vehicle or a car from falling is super important. And so we'll go through more of the lifting safety and jacking safety in a little bit. And then I'm going to give you a towel. A bigger towel. Make sure it's clean, and then right back in. Make sure it goes all the way down. Can y'all see where he's putting that? See how there's a tube there?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's dirty.
And you want to hold it kind of horizontal like you're doing. And do you see the two holes on the dipstick?
Yep.
Okay. And where is the oil relative to the two holes? Is it
Above.
It's above even the second hole?
Yeah.
Okay. Can everyone see that? That potentially means there might be a little too much oil in this car. There's an oil filter which we'll find under the engine. It does a lot to protect your oil and keep it clean. We're going to be replacing that. Each time you change the oil, you typically will replace the oil filter at the same time. It's just good practice. You can't always see what's inside the oil filter, but you just know that inside there it's capturing debris. It doesn't necessarily make the oil new again. It just prevents any metallic particles or any dust particles from damaging the engine as it circulates around. Oil is very important. One of the quickest ways to destroy the engine is to run it without oil. So that's for sure. Jack it up is probably right here where this suspension component attaches to the axle. So we'll be lifting it up there. Another opportunity would be right here. That's the transmission differential, the axle differential. That would also be a good spot. But because it has a flange on it and there's no rubber on this jack here, I would be a little bit careful about lifting it right there. So I think we'll use these suspension points to lift it up. So you want to just position the jack. The way you tighten the jack, this handle has a rotation thing. So if I loosen it this way towards the left, the jack will go down. When I turn it all the way to the right till it won't turn anymore, that means it's ready for jacking. See how there's a little cup on the jack? It's a real shallow dish. That's going to prevent it from sliding off as we lift because you have a dish there to keep it centered. So now that I have the spot located, it might be easier to stand up and just use the jack up and down like this. And if you notice, this tire has already come off the ground. So we were already lifting the entire weight of the right front with just the jack. So especially when we're working like a team like this, the jack number one is on wheels. So if we were doing some kind of major work to the suspension here, which we will be doing, you don't want it to roll. Okay, so it's fixed in the back, but it could roll left and right if both wheels are off the ground. So you don't really want something that rolls to be your safety device. The other reason is this handle sticks way out. If someone were to walk by and hit the handle, it could cause the vehicle to fall off the jack, or maybe someone's not aware, someone's underneath there, and they accidentally lower it, and maybe someone's working underneath there. When there's a lot of us like this, we want to be extra careful that we're not going to lower the Jeep down on someone. The other reason is this is for lifting only. I mean, it works with hydraulic pressure. It's really supporting the whole weight of the vehicle on a column of liquid. So if that liquid was to escape because there's a leak, it could drop rapidly or even slowly, and you may not notice it to where it's just not safe. So the better thing to do is use the lifting device, like this is just for lifting, and then we use a jack stand, which are these. These are not for lifting, they're just for supporting it. There's no wheels on the bottom, and they're adjustable to go right underneath the axle. That's gonna give it a solid base, and it's not something that is just going to lower over time. So this is a ratcheting system. These can adjust up and down, so we'll get that underneath there, one side at a time. That's gonna support the vehicle weight, and there's also two of these. So instead of having one way to support the vehicle, we're gonna have two, potentially even three, if we wanna be extra safe. So can everyone see where I placed that? There's a large beam that will go right onto the jack stand. So if you're not sure and it's not working out, you don't want to just compromise. You want to reevaluate and I think start over, because this does not look like a great place to keep that jack stand. Everyone agree? Yeah. This is a good example of, do you see the difference this time? Even though the weight of the Jeep is supported onto the frame, notice how the wheel came down, because we're jacking from a different point. So this will give us a little bit more clearance underneath. The Jeep is slightly higher, but it doesn't necessarily look like it, right? So let's make sure there's enough room for us to work underneath there. Okay. Does someone want to lower the jack and let it settle down? We want to make sure it's level.
So right before the transmission.
Yeah. So right there.
Right here, yeah.
So right above you.
This.
A little further back.
Here, these hose.
Nope. So the oily black thing is the oil pan.
Yeah. This is the.
So you
oil
just
pan?
had your hand on it. So keep looking all around the perimeter of that oil pan, and you should find the drain plug.
What is it? What am I? What does it look like?
It just looks like a bolt.
Oh, so just this. Oh, this is it.
Yes, I think so. Yes.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure what it
You're
was
real
looking for.
close. Yeah. So it's pretty far underneath there.
Yeah. You gotta go real far.
You gotta go really far. Really? You just want to follow that piece back as far as you can to where it reaches its lowest point. The lowest point, that's a little too far.
Here?
Just that one piece of dark black metal. Yeah, right there, just above where your hand is the drain plug. Right? Real close to where you just were. Right there, I think that's it. Yeah, you see a bolt right there, right above your eyes?
Mm-hmm.
That's the drain plug.
Okay.
Okay, that's where the oil is going to pour out.
Okay.
Okay, you got it?
Yeah.
Great. Watch your head as you slide through. Just come straight up. Perfect. And then you might want to flip the wrench around, because what's happening is it's pointing away from the bolt. So if you go like that, it's a little bit more ergonomic for you. Yeah, that's perfect. And then you pushed it pretty hard.
I'm pretty sure.
You want to push it with about 15 pounds.
Ugh.
That makes sense, like a dumbbell.
I can't push it anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That's
Okay, good. Thank you.
Thank you.
And you're working upside down or even from the side, you kind of lose track of which way righty-tighty is, okay? So the reason why a lot of threads are called right-hand threads is because it mimics the direction of our right hand. So if we want to remove a bolt, say there's a bolt right here attached to this tire, I'll just use this lug nut for an example. If I want to remove this lug nut, here's a missing one by the way. If I want to remove this lug nut, I want it to come this way. If I use my right hand in the direction of the bolt I want to remove, or the nut I want to remove, you will use these fingers will tell you which direction to turn it. So I want to extract the nut this way, turn it the way your fingers naturally curl. Okay, so when you're upside down, like I could be looking at it from this side, I'm behind the tire and I'm working on this wrench and I don't know which way to turn it because I lost track, because I'm disoriented. I want to turn it like this. So I put my wrench on there, that's the wrong wrench, but I'm going to be pushing this way. So you'll never get confused which way to turn it if you're using your right hand. It's called the right hand rule. There are some threads that are left-handed, very rare. And same thing with the drain bolt. We don't want to let our fingers off of it because we don't want it to fall out of your hand and splash into the oil. Yeah, that's the direction. And just, yeah, make sure you catch it if it comes unthreaded.
All right.
You're doing great.
If it fully comes off, is the oil just gonna blast everywhere?
Well, when it comes off, you want to try to.
Oh my goodness.
That's the moment. Now hold it so the open side is up. So you're gonna hold it like a cup, and then don't let it fall out of your fingers, but try to snake it through between the space you have. Yeah, great. And then come a little forward. Great job. Oof. And then I'll take it.
Oh my god.
So this is the gasket right here. Came off with the filter. That means we're go ahead and put the new one on. Put a little oil on the seal so it doesn't prevent us from getting this filter nice and tight to the engine. You don't need a lot of oil here. Okay. So as we put the new one on, you can see how there's a seal on top of it. Everybody want to look at the new one has a oil seal on top of it.
Yep.
It's generally a good idea. Yeah, I can hold it. Good idea to put a little oil on the seal so that as you tighten it, it's nice and slippery. So it'll get the full tightening torque.
It's kind of hot at the bottom.
And then some people like to pour oil into the filter. That just helps keep the engine lubricated a little bit quicker.
Check the zoom.
We can put a little bit in here. We just don't want to spill it while we're installing the filter. So I'm not going to go all the way to the top. So this is nice and prepped. Now we can go ahead and put it onto the engine. And I think it was, who's going to try? You were. Now it's about half full of oil, okay? So you need to do the same thing as removal. You don't want to tilt it. Keep it upright like a cup, and I'll help you get it into the right position, and we're just going to twist it on. I think you got it, yeah. So keep going until it stops. And then once it stops, we're going to go a quarter turn more.
There you go.
Is that like finger tight where your fingers can't push it anymore?
Yep.
Okay, and then so look at something on the filter. Do you see like a logo or some kind of mark?
Yeah.
So you're gonna want to turn it 90 degrees more.
All right.
Okay, keep going. Keep going. A little bit more. Tiny bit more. It's pretty tight, right?
Yep.
Okay, I think you got it. This closest to the funnel, and you're gonna tilt it like that. It'll dump right now. And then I'll have this towel handy if you need help.
Got it.
You don't need to be subtle, you can just dump it. And then someone else want to grab another quart? you'd be the next person to fill. Go ahead and take the cap off. And you're going to do just what Jaden did. See the orientation of the bottle? Yeah. You're going to pour it with the cap side farthest away from the funnel. Yeah, there you go.
You could let it rest on it. Drop.
Be a little bit of oil left in the funnel, so I like to have a separate towel catch the last drips as we pull it away from the engine, and then you can put the cap back on. Great job, everyone. That's the oil change. A couple more things that we should do. So like we talked about the oil change interval, normally it's like on the vehicle like this, probably 6,000 miles, 5,000 miles, somewhere in that range. So it's always a good idea, because we don't know who's going to own this car next, it might be one of you, to write down the mileage. So we can write down the mileage so we can calculate when is the next time to change the oil. K&N was nice enough to provide a sticker right here on the box, or there might already be a sticker in the windshield, but it gives you the date, the current mileage, and the next change mileage. It runs. Everybody. So there's no oil lights on in the dashboard, which is great. And we'll look underneath for oil leaks, but I think we are complete.
We want to give a huge thank you to Quadratec for providing all the parts for this build. Please make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. There's a lot more videos. This was just the first of many as we put this custom Jeep together. And as we develop this, there'll be a link in the description. So if you want this Jeep to be your first car, you'll have to go through that link to submit your story. Thank you so much. My name is Michael Bodell, and join us on our next episode of My First Car.